Hello, this is Carl Joshua Ncube, and you're listening to a podcast by Two Broke Zimbos.
We broke, we ain't got it. Broke, we ain't got it. Don't spend no money, ain't got no clothes, ain't got no cars, ain't got no hoes. We broke. Ladies and gentlemen, you're now listening. 1, 2, broke. We ain't got it. We broke.
Welcome back to Two Broke Twimbos. It's Phil, and I'm currently not in the studio, as I'm sure you guys can hear. I'm in my mother's boy sky, slightly depressed and crying in the fetal position because I wasn't able to make it to Harare to record this episode with Carl Joshua Ncube. Through the wonders of technology, I will be able to send this recording with my carrier pigeon and put it on my one and only flash drive, so I hope it comes back. I just want to send a special shout out to all of you that have been subscribing to the show. We really appreciate the support. We just launched the website and it seems to be doing quite well. Not too many complaints or reports for our toilet humor and extreme immaturity. We really appreciate that. I would also like to thank the people that helped us launch, Melissa Music for that dope intro and that Kanye sample. Kanye, please don't sue us. We have no money. All we can offer you are used recharge cards and struggle. Tatenda Genia from Genia Designs for doing the logos. Those are dope. Really appreciate that. So guys, please don't forget to subscribe, iTunes, follow us on Twitter, follow us on SoundCloud, like us on Facebook. We really have a lot of plans for Two Broke Twimbos. All of them involve begging you for money, so please support. Go over to the website. We've got a great review for Liquid Deep Show. Dan expounds on his toilet paper issues. I give you guys helpful tips on how to avoid combis, and we've got a lot of stuff coming, a lot of stuff in the works, so be on the lookout for that. And without further ado, because my megabytes are running out, I'll hand you over to Dan and enjoy the podcast.
This is Two Broke Twimbos. I got Carl Joshua Ncube and his lovely wife Nelsy in here.
And we're doing this again.
Take two
of an entire interview.
Daddy's so broke he forgot to record the
I can't afford to press the button.
Yes.
Alright, so we've been talking to Carl Joshua Ncube, who is Zimbabwe's biggest stand-up comedian.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat the jokes that I said earlier.
Yeah. And I'll
Wait,
keep
what did I
answering
say?
every question by saying, like I said earlier. Sorry, I'm not letting you off the hook on this one. It's going to be like this the entire time.
Anyway, Carl Joshua Ncube is probably Zimbabwe's most prominent stand-up comedian at the moment. What we have established already, he's
award-winning.
He's also award-winning.
Absolutely.
He's over 30,
Yes.
and he's been in comedy for...
almost 3.5 years.
He's 33 and a half years old. Which, interestingly, is the age that Jesus Christ died at.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
had issues with it.
We had issues with that when we first met.
All right, we're going to have to go over this again.
Okay.
No problem.
Have you always wanted to be in comedy?
Like I said earlier.
Like I said earlier, my father was a stand-up comic, and he performed at weddings a lot and did it for free pretty much. And my brother and I always copied his stuff and always wanted to be like him. So humor has always been part of our family. So I kind of felt like at some point in my life I'd like to be a stand-up comedian, because my only reference was my dad, who was a lot older. I figured that's the age that I needed to be funny. I needed life experience in order to be funny. But comedy came knocking a lot earlier. Friends of mine just started pushing me and saying, "Listen, you know what? You're funny. You need to do this as a profession." And eventually, at 30, was when I jumped onto stage. Thanks to Tari Wildfire.
He still didn't think he was funny, but
Yeah.
he still jumped onto stage.
Yeah,
That's excellent. By the way, that makes two of us.
yeah.
All right.
You need to get on the stage soon, my guy. Like, I don't understand.
I know, Shah. We
Oh,
need to give him
please.
some open mic slots.
Then that guy of the Comedy Thursday fame.
Yes.
That's in Zimbabwe they always have to tag you according to something.
Oh, yes.
Such
Something
a
that you've
leader.
done.
It's like Carl of the Nelsy fame. Yeah.
Nelsy Ncube.
Yes, I don't know. That's
Yo.
what people say. Say, Carl, where's Nelsy? So I'm famous for marrying you in the Bahamas. That's,
We're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah,
We're actually going to have to
absolutely.
talk about it. 'Cause that just doesn't seem comedian at all.
to get married in the
Just
Bahamas.
saying, it's like, it's so
I planned
normal.
it, so that's why.
Oh, there we
I
go.
planned it. Like, I'm the sanity of this whole
On
relationship.
Wednesday. The only time she's saying. Just saying.
All right. So, I mean, you hinted at it earlier, but how come it took you
a long time.
30 years to
Yeah,
get
you
to.
know, as I was saying earlier, I realized that because I'm a business person first, and I needed to find a form of expression because I've got lots of ideas. I'm a creative. I want people to understand the ideas that I have, things that I want to do, and comedy was the best platform for me to be like, because it kind of was an experiment. For the longest time, I wanted to do artist management, and artists in Zim, I tried to offer so many things, but they weren't keen. And so I thought if I use myself as a guinea pig, then people will believe the progression of my career and how successful it's been. Then maybe artists will start coming to me.
Sorry, for Zimbabweans who are listening and we
Yes.
don't know what a guinea pig is, can we use a different
a
road
guinea
name?
pig is, let's say, maybe a road runner with peanut butter. With peanut butter, something. Yeah, like a road runner. No, a road runner. It would be like something to taste.
Okay, to taste. It's like a guinea pig,
so
yeah,
you,
right.
So you taste something like a road runner.
Sha,
with
you
peanut
taste
butter.
you taste my Twimbi, but you just don't
Yeah,
taste
yeah.
the
So,
roadrunner.
so it was a guinea pig.
Okay, you were hinting earlier, of
Yeah.
course, that earlier on when we conducted this interview
Yes.
before
Before
this actual interview.
Before we place record.
You did mention that you got certain markets that you're trying to reach when you're doing your sets or whatever. Well, that's what you used to do.
Yeah.
Can we elaborate further on that and
Yeah.
put some flesh on that?
Demographic.
very
I suppose,
skinny guinea
I
pig.
suppose you know what I realized when we started comedy. People had this impression where they'd say, "Yeah, do you know most Zimbabweans like this or most Zimbabweans do this?" And I realized that Zimbabwe basically has a lot of people make too many marketing assumptions. So we think a lot of people like certain things and we give them that, assuming that's what the market wants.
Yeah.
But then the market is a lot more sophisticated than we give it credit for. So adverts don't necessarily have to be played in English and Ndebele to be understood by everyone. You will find that there's people who would have just understood that advert in one language in the first place. So sometimes like the marketing speak that we have with a lot of corporates in Zimbabwe don't seem to understand what marketing actually is. That it starts from a grounding of research and then you figure out products that suit those particular markets. So for me as a comedian, when I started, I had to then do things like tours to actually find out exactly who likes comedy. Because if I based it on what I was seeing on Facebook or the places I'd perform at Allianz, ZGS and so on, I would have just thought that comedy was for expats and, you know, these diplomats and, you know, that kind of thing. And yet I found every Zimbabwean watches Trevor Noah. They love Kevin Hart. They love Cat Williams. So perhaps maybe they can also love Carl Joshua Ncube. Maybe.
Okay. First of all,
Yeah.
do you practice on your wife? Wait, okay. Do you practice?
Every time.
Do you practice your jokes?
Oh,
on
my-
your,
oh,
okay, no,
jokes.
wait, hold on.
Okay,
Yes,
if we're
your
talking
sets.
Jokes, yes,
It
sets.
does.
Yeah, I practice on my wife, but you know, it's always very difficult. They always say when you're an artist, do not ever run your.
We're still talking about jokes, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do not ever run any ideas past your spouse, and that's not in a bad way. It's only to do with the fact that they are the closest person to you, and if they tell you that something doesn't work, it will die immediately. So if Danny tells you that a joke doesn't work, you can say, it's Danny. But if your wife tells you, that joke is dead. So many jokes have died in my household. Let's just say we have a hero's acre of jokes. Some epic ones that never made the light of day. Because like sometimes, you know, the wife, she likes watching series. Big Bang Theory, Kevin Hart. Then if I come with my local jokes to her, when she's appreciating this international
but-
content, sometimes, no, I'm just saying.
Sometimes,
Sometimes. So my problem is when an idea comes, it comes while my wife is doing something, which is a problem because then she's already concentrating on something. I'm like, I've got a great idea and I just want to share it immediately. So sometimes there's a disconnect there, but generally she's very supportive. She's very like there and like participates in the writing of the jokes. In fact,
Awesome comeback, huh?
no, I realized
It's like she was burning.
we
She
have
was
to
like,
go home
"Can I
after
just
this interview?"
interject?"
Yeah, I have to go home after the interview.
And there'll be no more practicing.
No, I like to hear the jokes with the rest of the crowd. So sometimes when he tries to tell me his jokes and stuff, I don't get them at the time. But when I actually see it while he's performing it on stage, I actually find them absolutely hilarious, and I don't mind hearing the jokes over and over and over again
And
as he's
over and
performing
over and
them.
over
And
again.
I actually do find them funny. It's just the only time I can't get it is when he's telling me at home, and it's a weird thing. I don't know, but
But if I write it on Facebook,
I find
when I'm
it
sitting
funny.
next to her.
I don't know. It's
she'll
like
click
retrospect.
How cool is that? She'll click like and even say lol, which is weird because she's not actually laughing out loud because I'm sitting next to her. She's just like she should say LIL or laughing inside loudly or something. Do you know what I'm saying? Because that's a challenge.
I know of a couple of people that do that. My co-host on radio,
Right.
Lo, I've been sitting next to her as she writes out in capital letters, "Bwah ha 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 ha." I'm looking at her
Like,
face.
look at her and you know, Lo, she will never go blah, ha, 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 ha. Like that's not a low thing to do. So
Why do you women lie to us like this? Why?
Yeah.
We don't.
And do you know what annoys me though? People will come to comedy clubs and don't laugh out loud. They come to comedy clubs and they're like, I mean, like, how is that going to help the whole scheme of things? We need to hear laughter. You can't come there. and
Maybe you
just
need to change your jokes, man.
No, it's
No,
like
they come
people
and
laugh
like-
inside like really loud, but inside, and it's like, why are you here? Just go home and let someone else tell you the jokes.
I'll tell you a mindset that even I've experienced at comedy clubs. Sometimes I go in there with the mindset of I dare you to make me laugh.
Right.
So it's almost like
You're evil.
if I laugh, I lose.
But okay, wait. Let me explain something to you. You paid.
So you love.
So that's
You
like
love
the way you lose.
That's
Such a
like
wallet.
you looking at a burger and you say feed me.
I find it so funny that you think I paid.
Oh yes.
Yeah. All right.
No, but he took his time. He could have been doing something else.
Yeah.
But he chose to leave his humble
You bought
abode,
drinks.
drinks,
Bought.
and go all the way there. One
I like that.
You know,
Fuel.
no. What we may not have your money in our pocket, but we have your time.
That's true.
You know,
Yes,
and that's
yes.
that's much
Normally,
more
time
precious.
is money.
exactly
money.
In my
exactly.
case.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you are not broke.
Well,
Because you've got quite a lot of time.
I suppose if you look at it
24
that way.
hours.
Yeah, no, if you look at it that way.
Yes.
Now, you also said that a lot of Zimbabweans appreciate international comedy.
Yes.
And they watch the likes of the Kevin Harts and the Cat Williams
Right.
and the Barack Obamas and so on. Now, I know it's a bit unfair and it's probably not the best idea to do for local arts.
Right.
But Zimbabweans will always compare you to what they're used to from
Absolutely.
outside the
Sure.
country.
Yeah.
Who do you think you sound like? Or who do you think most people compare you to?
You know, a lot of times when I started, I got a lot of references of Carl is copying. In fact, Carl is copying Trevor Noah. As
Trevor
in,
Noah,
like,
okay.
You get people who say stuff like that, and you know, a lot of the times, because you look in Africa, the context of Africa is that we do experience a lot of the same things. And one of the things that I noticed when I started, I used to write a lot of broad subjects in Africa, things to do with like electricity cuts, water, how women behave, weaves, and those kind of things. But I realized Africa is such a huge continent that a lot of comics were now taking information from that same pool. So I've now evolved out of that phase and talking more about my life, because I realize that's the only thing that's unique, is now talking about my perspective and how I come across. So I've now set myself as a very different comic from when I started. So in the beginning, it was all talking about like African women and whatever it is, and the same subject matter that comics like Trevor Noah would have. So going now and starting to write about my life personally and my personal experiences, that's the thing that's now set me as a different comic.
Okay. So Trevor Noah then.
Yeah.
Some people have said I look like Trevor Noah. I haven't been able to.
Yes.
Actually-
You know what? You had a lot of expressions, a lot of Trevor
Actually-
expressions that were going on. Is Danny that Trevor guy? Which is
That's a good one,
weird
babe.
in my head.
That's a
I can't
good one,
get that out of
babe.
Well,
my-
I haven't been able to see it myself
Yeah.
because I can't afford
also tall, like
any
you.
resolution in my videos higher than 0.5p. But I'll take your word for it. But I don't think Trevor Noah is funny. I was telling Carl this earlier.
Yeah, I remember.
I
you
don't
mentioned that.
I don't think Trevor Noah is
But
that. I mean, he's got a couple of jokes that you'd be like, okay, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But most of the time, it's very. I feel like he's relying more on the Charlie Chaplin type of humor as opposed to wit.
I think though, you know, the one thing that I find amazing about Trevor is the fact that he's got a broader spectrum of people that he applies to. So you'll find that you get like maybe like a 60% success rate in terms of people that love you. So he's not in terms of genre. You'll see his writing actually goes through multiple genres, and they appeal to a very wide kind of family-friendly type of comedy. So it's not very tongue-in-cheek, and it's not like on the edge. It's not edgy in that way. So you get a lot of people who can safely go to a Trevor Noah show and not exactly feel offended, because he doesn't He doesn't go into a lot of the topics that, say, Jim Jeffries will talk about abortion, rape, and those kind of things, and be very edgy as a comic. So what people need to actually understand is that the genres are very
Different.
distinct and very different. So I get people in my inbox saying, "Yeah, but you don't make me laugh," and I'm like, "No, that's fine. It's actually okay. My genre of comedy only applies to the people that like that genre of comedy. Every time I go outside of that genre, the people who are in my fan base don't like it. They don't like how I sound if I'm ridiculing women or if I'm talking about, about topics like religion in a very disrespectful manner. But other comics can get away with that because they're in that specific genre.
But isn't it just like music? It's I think comedy literally is almost just
It's
like
exactly
music.
like music.
Like some people listen to dancehall, some people listen to what is that? Crunk, crunch.
Like I don't like dance.
Crunch music is
I don't
my
like
favorite.
dancehall.
Exactly.
I love
like
crunch
dancehall.
music.
So I'm like,
And I love
I don't get it. So my wife.
Whoa.
And I'm like, I can't pop all day. Like I can't do
Well,
that.
I can't
Because it sounds like, to me it just sounds like the same beat.
Guys,
No, but that's like
by-
but that's like what's that other one? The one that they play in South Africa a lot. What is it called?
Like house.
Like house.
Yeah,
I
I don't
think
like
house
house.
sounds the
I
same.
don't like house.
I think it's the same beat. I think they've got just one person doing lyrics at house.
Yeah. It just
And it
sounds
just
like
different.
like it's like one line in a dictionary.
And it's like,
That's
oh,
like,
yeah. I think the same. I think the same. Yeah, but I've got friends.
Have you ever opened up a lyrics page for a house song? It's like 3 words times 12.
It's 20 songs on 2 lines.
They've all mixed
and
in one
and the
song.
actual lyrics are the title of the song.
Yeah, I'm out on the streets. Out on the streets.
I even seen that.
I know, I have no idea.
But I feel we should go back to this crunch music
Yeah.
issue.
What's crunch?
Do you know what? And I just
What's
remember
crunch
like,
music?
what is
okay,
that thing that
the
they do
only
with the
music-
shoulders? Is that the one, right?
No.
Or maybe I'm okay. I got it wrong.
I think that's
No.
dislocation.
That's a medical
No, it's a
condition.
dance. That
It's like medical aid.
I don't know.
No, we
But I
shouldn't,
just
we
heard
shouldn't make
about
fun
it.
of people with dislocation and AIDS.
Dislocation,
No,
yeah.
I-
yeah.
And-
Dislocation is
Sincerely.
not relocation.
That's
That's so terrible.
lame.
Okay,
Anzi, that's lame. That's terrible.
I have to cut that part out.
No, but listen, the Oscar Pistorius trial has put us in that kind of phase. So at the end of the day,
There's nothing else you can focus on? Or
We're
you feel
thinking that he's probably
dislocated?
gonna walk.
yeah. It's no legal leg to stand on. I'm just saying. If he was arrested in Harare, at least he'd be cutting grass, Kurimand.
Sure,
Yeah.
but he's standing trial.
Achimanya.
Yeah.
Mm.
He's standing trial.
See? You can do it. There we go.
That's what he's charged for.
That's an excellent way to use that.
Okay,
what
but
I'm
tell me, that whole song is just Tirukumanya, and then po.
No.
No, it actually has lyrics.
Oh, it does?
Yeah, they discuss the geopolitical situation in China and the general aggressive military foreign policy that many nations these days are implementing.
My copy must have skipped.
Oh.
It just went to po.
Maybe you skipped it to get to your crunch track. I don't know. Anyway, all right. So we've talked about you in comedy.
Yeah.
I want to kind of get into specifics.
Okay.
Right. So age 30, you decided, right, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian.
Yes.
What were the steps that you took and what did you do?
We had to write a business plan. We had to write, I think it's one of those like 15-year plan and stuff. Because generally the life cycle of a comedian, once you break out maybe at about minimum 12 years in the game. And this is where, you start attaining the kind of recognition that comics like, your Trevors and whatever are enjoying. So, I mean, we're all part in a 15-year plan, which involves having to do like lots of tours, having to figure out how to be a bankable artist, reason why corporates want to put money behind you. We have to start thinking legacy projects and that kind of thing, like how much of a difference is my comedy going to make to other communities and other people. So so we had to put this as a plan. It was a very elaborate plan, and we just follow it right now. It's just, we refer to it and we go back to it. So that's how we started, and we had to make sure that, because no one knew who I was, I had to self-publish, and it was nice now that we've got the internet, so I could tell people who I was and slowly grow that kind of audience until now.
But the simple version.
Simple version. Went on stage.
Oh, excellent.
And told 2 jokes. Then started building up and doing
Yeah.
Where was that?
It was at the listening room.
The listening room. Was it the listening room or the
Yeah,
vineyard?
no, listening room, which
Yeah.
was at Fono. It used to be Symphony.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I performed at
I used to love
at
the
Symphony.
cheesecake there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Smelling
awesome,
it, that is.
Eh? Oh, shit.
Being broke
You were
was-
broke Twimbo even then.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't a Twimbo then, but
Okay,
anyway.
you were just broke.
This is broke.
Yeah.
Yeah, just that. All right, cool.
But he's just getting on stage. I think him starting was just really getting on stage and cracking your first joke. And that's the thing that most people, when they ask, they're like, what should I do? I want to be a comic. Just get on stage and crack your first joke. And then
Get off.
And get off.
get off the stage.
Yeah.
Like if that first joke doesn't work, just say thank you so much and get
And
off.
get off the
Come
stage.
back, refine that joke, tell it, get off. Once you get a good laugh on that joke, then maybe add a second joke.
Yeah.
And then get off. And then before you know it, like I started doing 5 minutes, then I started doing
10 minutes.
and I started celebrating that I could do 10 minutes. I really perfected the 10 minutes, went to 20. And then I did 20 at a show with Wackett Simpson,
Yeah.
and then ended up putting
A
the
2-hour.
220 items together to do a 1.5 hour show, which had lots of.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, it was a.
20 by 2 is not really.
I know.
Anyway.
That's what I was
It's
about
not-
to
yeah.
say.
We had
I was
to
like,
expound.
I was like, yeah. I was like, no, it
expound
wasn't like 20 by 2,
Yes.
but like, yeah, it was a 1.5 hour show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. So you're growing as a
That
comic,
was sneaky.
Yes.
right?
I'm still a baby.
And I mean, now you're pretty much established. But at this point, before you got to now, did you ever get booed off stage?
No.
Please tell me
but
a
I had-
rotten tomato, like
no,
one. Come
No,
on.
I
Oh, you
had,
mean- no.
I had no, but I had one
One.
bad show, which was in Abuja, in Nigeria. They put every big comic before me, like huge names, Lois Sogola. They put Clint the Drunk. They put Eric Omonde from Kenya.
He's a huge guy.
Huge guys, like guys who like when they write a status update, like a full stop, they get like 2,000 likes in like an hour or whatever. And then I was put at the end because in Lagos I had done a really good show. Like I got like a standing ovation and everything. So I went to Abuja. They said, no, this kid is really gonna rock. Let's put him last. Let him be the last guy. Let's put all the biggest musicians in Nigeria you can imagine. Guys I only saw on Channel O. Then I was put on and I came out and I'm like, hi, my name is Carl Joshua Ncube. Great to be here. And just people just looked at what is
Creaky,
this now? It was
creaky,
like quiet,
creaky.
silent. I tried cracking jokes. Like the one Zimbo was sitting in there in the front was the only one cracking up. He was the only one like dying. And everyone was they didn't
He was
laugh.
tweeting. He was
And,
tweeting.
and they wanted to pull me off stage and I just kept going because I always like to stick to my plan. If I said I was going to do 15 minutes, I'll do that 15 minutes. I just went through my 15 minutes. I said thank you. I got off the stage and I wanted to cry and I wanted to come home. But Zimbabwe didn't have any flights. So,
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
So I was stuck. Then I had to go to the after party after that. Imagine how bad it is when it's like like backstage you've got like all these like chicks and stuff like that, and they're all talking to the comics, and you get off the stage and none of them want to even talk to you. But I was like, it's cool because I'm married.
Good guy. I was about to say, stop. All right, cool. Your best show?
wow.
By far, it has to be because I was doing this tour. This is Savannah Dock tour that we've been doing around the city. So I went to Tristan's the half bar.
Yeah.
And okay, so what was supposed to happen? People were having dinner. We were meant to leave, and then the next crowd that comes to drink would then come in. So when I walked in, it was like all white. It was like Bryan Adams' show.
Yes.
And so I walked in and I walked out. I was like, "There's no way I'm performing here." And then they heard there was a comic that night, so everyone stayed who was having dinner, so they didn't leave, so they waited. And then so I came out to perform. There was no stage and there was no microphone, and I completely ripped that room to shreds. It was like the best performance ever. I mean, I got 4 encores. The guys asking me to come. Hey, bro, you're really good, eh? It's like, oh.
I think even when you talked earlier about demographic,
Yeah.
not just in terms of color and race and stuff, it was also the age group was like 40, 50,
40s and
60-year-olds,
50s, yeah.
which is really interesting because you hardly get that crowd coming out to other events and stuff. So when you actually have an opportunity to perform to an age group like that and be
you
able
don't
to
even
make
have
them
any Bryan
funny.
Adams songs, and you're like, what do you do here? And yeah, so I'm glad it worked out. So it was cool.
It's cool. It's nice. It's actually,
Yeah.
that was nice.
But then one that ranks up there obviously has to be Bona's wedding, though.
Okay, what happened at Bona's wedding?
No, the performing at Bona's wedding and being able to
It's
tell
an
a Robert
opportunity.
Mugabe joke to Robert Mugabe.
What was the joke? What was the joke?
No, because I was talking about the president was mentioning in his speech that he had to accelerate Bona's education. by teaching us certain things and stuff. So I went on stage and I was like, yeah, Your Excellency, I just want to thank you. At least Bona is lucky she had you as a teacher. When we left school, our education was good, but when we went home, we then started playing games that didn't make sense, like Sweetie Go Start, 1, 2, Sweetie Debate, which made no sense. But thankfully, Your Excellency, you brought us, I know you brought us Voltron, and I know Voltron was your idea. Because like I knew you are the one who brought Voltron to us, and I thank you, because in Voltron, when they form in Voltron, they like form feet and legs, form arms and torso, and now form the head of state and government and commander in chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Robert Kibulunga. And then I ran off the stage. So
Did he laugh?
apparently I was told he did. But I wasn't aware that he watched Voltron though.
I think
It's sort of thing
everyone's.
that
Yeah,
I think
Yeah,
everybody
probably
did.
he was
'cause
watching
when they brought
Voltron.
Voltron, he was already president. So it's so like, do you know what I mean? He was already there.
True.
You know? Yeah.
All right, President Mugabe, if you could please just indicate in the comments section of this podcast whether you've watched Voltron or not.
Do you know what? That's such a good idea that you should say that, because when I was standing on the stage and I meant to clarify and ask, because I wanted to say, Your Excellency, I just wanted to clarify one thing before I get off stage. This, because we went through vetting and accreditation, so I wanted to know that with this invitation card, does it mean I can visit? Can I come for dinner? Is it like, what can I use it for? Can I send you bags? What can I do with this card? Is it for toll gates? Can I, what does it mean? Should I pull it out? Am I allowed to say, I didn't get to say that. I was too shy. I should have said it. And I should have said I've got a project in Mavuku that needs sponsorship.
There was no way he was ever gonna deviate from his script. He was shaking afterwards, eh?
No, I was scared. I've
He
never
was-
been that scared.
He was shaking
I was-
afterwards, like
I was scared. And to have to perform straight after him speaking. And he was cracking jokes. He was like piling them one-liners. Like, how do you beat Blair, keep your England, and I'll keep my Zimbabwe? How do you follow that up? How do you come out and say, okay, I've got a joke as well? Then you fall into that Kevin Hart local comedy
The difference,
situation. Yeah.
All right. Oh, fair enough. You also said you were talking about scripting.
Yeah,
Do you stick to your script strictly?
absolutely.
Okay.
You have to, in comedy, you literally have to, comedy is like, it's like music. It's exactly like music. You write a joke, it's a song. And the song works with a particular rhythm and tempo, and also accommodates the laughter as part of the routine. So you are writing a set and getting people to respond to certain aspects of the set, and you have to stick to it, because changing a number, a word, will throw you off. Then there's another level of comedy where there's a bit of improv, where you have to read the room and play on what's happening in the room. But you start off on the base of a rehearsed written script.
You're not yet at that level, I take it,
Of what?
which one?
of improv.
I do improv.
No,
a
he
lot.
does.
Oh, what?
Like I did a whole show off the top of my
We
head.
did a new improv night.
We've got a new night called at
The Other
Misty's,
Comedy
where
Club.
It's called the Other Comedy Club, and what we do is it's new material. So you just get there and you just try stuff out, and that's like
And use everyone like
probably the funniest comedy night out there now, because comics get there and we don't have to apologize that we wrote badly. It's like we come out and tell you all of our bad ideas, and it worked out quite well.
it did
Yeah.
really great, yeah.
You're a relatively safe
Yes.
comic.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, occasionally you'll throw in a joke that I'm like, I'm glad my mother is not here to hear this
Yeah.
one.
Right.
But do you think a really raunchy, nasty type of comedian, stand-up comic would do well in Zim, or are we too conservative?
Yeah, well, at the moment we're still at the industry building stage,
Yeah.
and the role that I play is more ambassador of comedy in the general sense. So, yeah, I have to act like father to the whole industry, and I think a lot of weight is on my shoulders to put a responsible line of how comedy is going to be perceived by everyone. So, to a greater extent, we all have the ability to write in that kind of manner, and we do want to encourage comedians to have freedom of expression. But in terms of where my role is concerned in comedy, it's more trying to even out the playing field politically and get everyone to feel like it's a safe art form. But yeah, certainly you are going to get comics that are going to come out. They're really going to take it to the next level on a tangent, and what we are doing is setting up the framework to allow for that to happen. And a comic who's like that is going to thrive, because there'll be the new thing. Like what for us, we're the safe ones, but they're going to be the new thing. We are planning on doing late night comedy clubs. You get them like at festivals where the comedy show starts at midnight. And what you expect to hear there is just not even appropriate. And I'll be happy to sort of start out those kind of things and, get that ball rolling. Get us out of the whole
No
safe-
pun, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the other thing is that you mentioned the issue of are we conservative and stuff like that. The thing is, it's such a catch-22 because we act conservative on the one end and then we don't.
Next thing you know, you're
That's the
selling,
thing is-
you're selling
Exactly.
sex toys.
That's what I'm saying.
selling
Like
sex toys and
we
leaving snakes on the
do you know
side
what,
of the road, or
Zimbabwe's a
sex
very
tapes.
we're
That's an actual snake, by the
Yeah,
way.
an actual
Yeah.
python
Yeah.
on the side of the road.
I found it's a very different thing that we, depending on where we are, we want to we want to act a certain way depending on where we are, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
if
that's
we're
that theory that I have,
Yeah.
that Zimbabweans are very we're very intelligent and very well read as
Which makes sense.
individuals. The
But
minute
in
we start to
crowds,
come as groups,
we're
we
little
start
monsters.
changing into whatever it is that the group
Yeah.
says we should be. So the group dynamic tends to affect us. We're affected by peer pressure. So if we were in a group of Christians and you're the only atheist, you're not going to say anything.
You're just gonna be like, yeah.
But you'll find the same people who talk about Christianity and I don't do this to my wife and whatever. The same guy is going to be in a bar talking about that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
we're very bad in groups because we tend to be influenced by the wrong forces when we're in groups. But as individuals, we're very easy to.
I think
deal with.
to give an interesting example, we've done a couple of comedy clubs and for specific reasons, but we have a comedy night at Londoners. It's like a
Nelsy. Landanas.
Landanas.
Oh, I'm sorry. Landanas. Right.
Yeah.
So
Keep
we have
your
a comedy
England, we'll
night
keep our
that we
Zimbabwe.
do there, but we do find that it's like a no holds bar
Yeah.
comedy night. So we find that when the comics are as raw as they want to be, no one actually gets offended. But if let's say we go to Allianz or we go to Book Cafe and we say if they say the exact same content, they get a completely like revolt in terms of what they say, which
From the
comes-
same people who were
at the
London.
Landanas.
London.
But this is the interesting thing. But this is where the grace in terms of when it comes to comedy for Zimbabwe is we're still so young. You know what I mean? We're still so young. The international comics that have come to Zimbabwe, your what's his name, Chris Forrest and your Mel Miller and stuff like that. These guys have been in the industry for like 25 years. South Africa has had comedy for years, and you would actually think that we are more open than South Africans technically. But however, South Africa has had time, and the audiences have had time to process what comedy is, and we are still at a stage where our audiences, yes, they may watch Trevor Noah, yes, they may watch Kevin Hart, but they're more accepting of Kevin Hart or Chris Rock saying swear words as opposed to their local comics saying swear words. So it's an interesting, it's a weird phenomenon, but I think it's because comedy is fairly stand-up comedy, let me put it that way. Stand-up comedy is fairly new. Like Carl, technically according to the comedy profession, Carl is such a baby. He's still a baby. He's a big comedian, but he's still a baby in terms of comedy when it comes to the industry. Oh, I knew, Sha. But he's still a baby. He's only 3.5 years old. So every time we travel, it's weird because they find it weird what we've managed to do with Carl in Zimbabwe. But again, it's just we're such a young industry, very very young industry. Our audience is still very young, even though we're well traveled and.
Yeah.
So there needs to be a bit of slack for the comics, and I think they're really doing a good job, and we have more comics now than we had a couple of years ago, and yeah, if we're in South Africa, I'm sure they could say anything they want.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll grow. We'll grow.
We are.
Especially as the younger guys who, as they are exposed to ETV late at night or
Yes.
or the
Parental
joys of an
guidance.
internet that is not very much policed,
Yes.
they will eventually become more open. That's also not a pun
Yeah.
to various
Pause.
proddings
Yes.
of the comedians.
Yeah.
So
We are still talking about comedy, right? Yeah.
of course,
I was just
absolutely.
checking. Cool.
oh no, fair enough. But of course, you don't only do comedy.
Yeah.
You're into animation
Yeah.
and design and so on.
Yeah.
Anything you've been working on now?
Yeah, I'm now coming into my kind of voice as a social entrepreneur, creating. We've got a product called Feel Good Zimbabwe where we've.
He doesn't have Instagram.
Yes, I don't have Instagram.
But I do.
Yeah, but what we've decided is to make Zimbabwe feel better about itself. We've decided to privatize that, as it were, to be the motivators of Zimbabwe. So we do that through comedy. We do that through some of our social initiatives. Like the Mavuku Tafara project is one of them that will start to cascade to all the other neighborhoods in Zimbabwe, giving a true identity to a place. And other like outlandish ideas, like we've set out an idea to build a broadcast tower in Zimbabwe, 300 meters up in the air, so that will make it the tallest structure in Africa. And that's, those are the kind of things where we want to see a status update that's saying something very nice at the top of the tower that everyone in the city can see, so that we feel better in the morning. Like Harare doesn't even have a clock, that kind of thing. And we need to know the time, we need to know when to get to work, we need to know how to be productive, we need to know how to be nice to each other.
If only someone could invent like a little device that you'd keep in your pocket, which has a time on it.
Yeah.
Maybe like as a bonus, it could like
make
phone
calls.
things. Yeah.
Exactly. That you don't have to look up at the sun anymore.
Yes.
You can actually
With a sundial.
You can even make a sex tape with it.
That is an added bonus.
Yeah, which is illegal, but we could work on that.
Yeah.
We could work on the legal aspect of it.
Speaking to the stakeholders, because we need stakeholders. Okay, stakeholders, that sounds like you're making a sex tape with guys who are stakeholders in there.
Wow,
as part of
bruh.
the fantasy, that kind of thing, which should be so strange.
We need to have a seminar on this, I think.
That's
Someone needs to book
yeah.
the elephant wheels. Anyway.
No comment.
All right. But you haven't actually said anything about animation.
I know. I was just dude.
And I'm the chairman of the Animation Association in Zimbabwe, so we, again, through our animation festival and our workshops.
What did you guys like, rock, paper, scissors for it? Or
What's that? For the Animation
the
Association?
two of you guys in the association?
Yeah, I know.
It was like who could sketch
I
the
won by
fastest.
2 votes. I got voted in 2 votes to make me the chairman. But yeah, the issue is about growing the animators that are in Zimbabwe, trying to find platforms to support the animation industry. Talking about it. It's funny that I forgot to speak about it, but speaking about it, so that everyone understands that animations are created for different purposes. Medical research, they can be used for movies, they can be used to make cartoons. So it's quite a wide field that's available, and we need to enable people and train them in that regard.
Just get people interested in animation, which is a weird thing.
Yeah.
Just have people interested. We have an animation festival every year. It's been going on for 5 years now?
Yeah.
5 years now. And then also just going around different organizations. Well, not organizations, but establishments. Teaching kids stop motion animation. Or just even, having kids watch animation. Simply, actually. So that's been good. Last year that was good. So this year, hopefully, we get to do more of that as well.
Cool. You also do your Carl Can Cook show.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's go back kitchen.
Indine problem.
Yeah. Okay.
Mira imunzwe problem yangu. Right. Carl has been very vocal
Right.
about his desire to lose weight.
Right.
Right from the beginning.
Right.
Of course, you made fun of it and called yourself the biggest stand-up comedian, and and how you have to roll around to move instead of walking,
Yeah.
and various other things like how it's very difficult to fold your jerseys because they're in a circular shape. Those kind of things,
But the additional
But then, apparently, during this passionate desire to fight cholesterols,
And
all of a
diabetes.
sudden,
Yeah.
there's a Carl Can Cook type of initiative.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's mixed signals, because salads don't need to be cooked, eh?
I know. Salad and water.
Anyway, tell me about Carl Can Cook.
Carl Can Cook was born out of the fact that, as I said in our earlier interview, my father was a comic and a teacher, woodwork teacher, technical graphics and so on, which is where my design bug and my comedy bug came from. My mom is a home economics lecturer, which is where my cooking and knitting and sewing bun.
Oh,
Okay,
gosh.
Yeah, so I know how to do those things. So the cooking,
And braiding of hair and
yeah.
pillow fights late at night.
Yeah. so and the color pink, which I love to bits. Anyway, so my
More and more revelations here on Two Broke Twimbos.
I know. So at the end of the day, when I was diabetic, I realized the menus that I was given and the things that I was supposed to eat were drab and boring, and I started cooking things that I loved to eat but were still healthy. Although doing a cooking show means you kind of eat excessively, so that's also now a challenge, which is why I'm fighting so much with my weight. But it started off with an initiative to try and cook healthy and show people how you can eat better food at lower costs. You know, like
Now I'm interested.
Like a cheaper way to make crayfish and prawns.
Okay, never mind.
And salmon.
And salmon. You know, those kind of things, just to make it just a little more affordable.
I think.
Yeah, to the average
I think
Zimbabwean.
demographic
I actually hate
tatata.
the term average Zimbabwean because I mean, who walks around saying
I'm an
I'm
average
an average
Zimbabwean.
Zimbabwean? Like I am the guy on the street. Like I walk on the street regularly, but I am not the guy on the street. Like who wants to be that guy who's talked about? Who's no, the guy on the street wouldn't understand the average.
Our statistics show.
Our statistics show that the guy on the street or my ambuya in Mtorashanga.
On these statistics,
Yeah.
Do you have any recipes for people like my fellow broke Twimbo who couldn't make it here because of bus fare?
Yes.
He dilutes his tomato sauce 1:4, like Mazoe. Do you have any recipes for someone like that?
Tomato sauce. I have no reply for that. We're going into a range of recipes, what we call like $3, $5, $10.
Whoa.
We're going up. Sorry, I should have started $15, $10, $10, $5, $3 recipes.
Okay.
So that people can actually, learn to cook. But also, I mean, we've got our initiative in Mavuku called Kubora, where we're trying to actually cut down the entertainment budget by telling people, come with your cooler boxes and your drinks.
All these expenses.
No. Yeah, but you come with your cooler boxes and with your meat, right, and your drinks.
You got a plastic bag.
You come to Mavuku.
Alright.
You come to Mavuku. You use my marinades to cook your meat. So it's like we've halved and halved.
Mayonnaise, do prima stove.
Sauce, chicken.
Okay, alright.
Yeah.
No, you know what you should share? You should share your bachelor sadza recipe.
Oh yeah, the bachelor.
Let's talk about this. Bachelor sadza recipe.
No, bachelor sadza recipe is just when you put basically like your mealie meal in a paste form, but lots of it, and then you just pour your boiling water, and then it's on the heat, and then you're to quarter immediately, and you're already mixing, and it's ready to serve.
This is brilliant.
Yeah, it's like it's
Seva
5 minutes sadza. It's like you can cook it in five minutes.
I know. That's what
It's like in the pot, immediately just start mixing it and you're done. Don't even wait for the quartering and what.
Not a seva.
Then you can always add stuff like cheese, more.
Whoa.
To make it sophisticated.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, that's interesting. I'm going to use that one.
Yeah.
We're going to post that recipe exclusively on Two Broke Twimbos, as well as other recipes that I will get Carl to get us to, recipes for those who are living on a budget.
Yeah. I also have business ideas for people on a budget who don't have money, but they just have a phone and they want to make their business work.
Anti-Tatima sex tapes are illegal.
All right. Never mind. Because I was like, that was going to make money if it was allowed.
Carl Can Cook is showing on ZVC, is it? Or it was at some point?
They showed season 1. Yeah,
okay.
They showed season 1 last year. And we haven't started filming season 2 because I'm working on a cookbook. So the production of the cookbook will actually
coincide with the TV program.
Sweet. Okay. Cool. What was the reception like?
The reception?
Not the wedding reception, of the show.
The reception.
I can always tell when he's about to make a joke.
No, I thought
reception of the audience.
it was always really interesting about when Carl's show came out. I remember we would get really awkward calls. Like someone would call and say, "Didipa TM non dagabata green paper." What was the classic one?
Green paper.
Do I say now? You're like, and you're like, okay. No, I promise. Or like 7:00 in the evening, we get someone sending us a WhatsApp with like a list of ingredients they had.
Yeah, they've taken a picture of the ingredients.
And they're like, what can I make with this? And It's all,
Help me.
Yeah, it was all dope though. Or
A lot of housewives in the supermarkets would stop me and they'll say,
Like, do
I
it.
love that recipe with the beer butter.
yeah, so it was
Okay, thanks.
shy.
Shy, thanks, shy. I'm so shy.
So it was good. It was good. And it was actually interesting because it was very because the show was being showed like 8:00 in the morning.
8:30 in the morning.
8:30 in
on
the
a
morning.
Friday. So we
On a
didn't
Fri-
think, again, demographics. If the
Yeah.
average Zimbabwean or the guy on the street or the Ambuya in Torashanda was watching it.
So
And we found out
our
that
phone
there's no
would,
such
would
thing as the
ring
average.
off the
Yeah,
hook.
because we had a number on there that people could beep to get recipes.
Okay.
And it would ring off the hook.
Yeah,
The whole of Friday would ring off
yeah,
the hook.
a whole Friday and then over the weekend. And that's
Brilliant. I'm so for that. I think one of the things that's lacking majorly in Zimbabwe in terms of building the entertainment industry is the fact that our television, and I mean all respect to ZBC, but it is very poor.
Right.
Like myself,
The broke Twimbo.
it's very poor. It is so poor it could be the third broke Twimbo. You can see that there's ideas for for something, but the execution somehow at the end just always, and I feel like if we don't rely on ZBC to come up with all this content,
Yeah.
if for example you do your cooking show, we get Dan and Phil to put a Two Broke Twimbos episode on
Exactly.
ZBC. We get
Exactly.
you know what I mean. We get a whole bunch of these ideas put together. We're gonna get.
It also takes ZBC, I think, calling Nindaba of the most creative minds
Mhm.
and
To come up
saying,
with show.
we have this infrastructure. How can we serve you to create content?
Content, yeah.
Instead of waiting for us to create content, because we're all around looking for cameras. They have cameras. We have ideas.
Mm.
They somewhere in between. Someone needs
we
to
can
broker this
actually-
kind of discussion, and that's not happening at the moment. And an Indaba needs to happen. Needs to be called. All the stakeholders need to be called together. But so far, it's not happening.
Yeah, but I think it's the greatest, the most amazing thing about Zimbabweans is we actually travel a lot more than most African citizens in other countries. We actually travel a lot, and we've seen, like you're saying.
Speak for yourself, sister.
I woke up, but you've been to South Africa.
The only traveling I do is to Kadoma, and by that I mean part of the combi, not
But
the place.
there are countries of people who've never traveled within their own
Yes.
countries. So Zimbabweans do relatively travel a lot, and sometimes it's not even reinventing the wheel. All the things that we enjoy in other productions that we watch, whether it's SABC 1 or SABC 2, it's just really replicate. Like you're saying, I would love to see Two Broke Twimbos as an episode or a series that we can actually watch on ZBC. The cooking show, reality TVs. I don't know who would we put on the reality TV
Pimp
show.
My Snake. Where would be this week? We're painting.
This is
another
illegal
python.
in this country.
We're
Oh, the
painting-
actual reptile.
What are you talking about? Like,
Snake.
I don't know. This
know
is
a
illegal. Then he was like, "Is this a reptile?"
No, but a snake that spits money is not. Is it illegal?
But there's so many stories. Like,
Is it cruelty to animals?
Whoa,
If
wait,
you
a snake that spits what?
money. You've never heard of those?
We're going to need to discuss
Yeah,
after
snakes
this.
that spit money. They're like ATM machines. Because
Oh,
you've got
wow.
EcoCash, Telecash, and now Python Cash.
yeah, no, but I think we could. We can actually have people watching ZBC again. We just need to work
Because
together.
at one point it used to be really dope.
It was awesome. Remember
Because
in the
you
morning,
would have the obviously the international content, which seems to be preferred because obviously it's of a higher quality and standard. But then you'd have the occasional locally produced show that was interesting.
Yes.
We used to diligently watch Studio 263.
I remember I used to watch this gardening show with this really old white lady.
Yeah.
It was so cool, Sha.
We used to watch Funny Company.
But that's not Zimbabwe.
Well, I just think it's all content, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I guess.
It's all
we
content.
want local.
Local content.
No, but obviously, I mean, for it to be watched, I feel like if we had some of the get like Game of Thrones showing at midnight, and immediately afterwards you put the Python Cash episode,
Yeah.
Right.
and then
eh,
you know what I
rights.
mean.
Yeah.
Movie rights.
So
Just block the Supersport logo. Who cares? Just put a Dove's logo on top of it. And just say,
Proudly
"Brought to
sponsored."
you by Doves."
No, but I agree with you. I because we never had anything else except ZBC when we were growing up. So I remember, but what I used to like is the consistency of programs. And You had Sounds on Saturday. I actually used to enjoy the commercials. Remember the Cashel Valley?
We
with
had the
big
best
beans?
commercials,
We
guys.
had the most awesome commercials.
Woods.
Woods. Exactly, you know?
And then all the commercials became commercial farmers, and then
Moving on swiftly.
Right.
You've been talking about the Mavuku Tafara initiative that you started up. Please tell me what that is.
Yeah,
I don't know because I never got my invitation.
So I grew up I grew up in Mavuku, right?
Twimbos, eh?
Pretty much so when I was young we used to play soccer there and whatever, and
With a Gweshe.
yeah,
Yes.
and we used to make our own, like, and I used to make the best ones, because you'd make the best footballs if your family did groceries a lot.
Yes.
It meant you had plastic bags.
That's true. But at the same time, you needed to put something solid right in the middle.
Right
Because a
in
lot
the
of people made a mistake of just assuming it should always be plastic bags.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I can't relate. We used to buy balls.
Anyway, so the key is to put, you can find anything solid.
Yeah.
Sometimes we used to use a fruit,
Oh, okay.
like a lemon.
Right.
You put it right in the middle. Then later on, obviously, you'll have to enjoy the beating for stealing lemons.
Right.
But you just so wrap it with. You start with
We used
bread
guavas,
plastics.
but it's funny
Guavas
that
work
it's
too.
lemon.
Yeah. Bread plastics.
Yeah.
And then you move on to the thin plastics that are from these smaller supermarkets.
Supermarkets, yes.
Then eventually you move to an OKTM, which have the
What
strong,
kind of
There's
a
the
what kind
strong
what kind of a ball?
the
were you
ones that are
making?
like the ones that are like locally made
What's
biscuits.
it?
Well,
Ayo, but remember, girls, guys, Taitamba, Pada,
Yes,
Nodo.
you'd use the same type of ball. You'd make a
Well,
plastic
no, there
ball.
was an honorary guy in the neighborhood. There's always the one guy. Like, there's a bunch of chicks, and then there's always the honorary guy.
I think you need to look into this guy,
No,
Carl.
they,
You know-
that guy, they then play Maumbwe with you.
Tatamba.
Then say,
Did
hey,
they-
you want to do a daddy? Then they'll be like,
In the wife number
all
4.
right, you all right,
Exactly.
Like, I wonder, when kids are playing Maumbwe nowadays, do they have like 11 wives?
What was it? Yee. And
Do
just-
they do
No, but kids never play in that
Like,
number of
Ndini
groups.
Gumbo-
Anyway, so back to Mavuku Tafara. Sorry, we got sidetracked by the recipe of making a perfect
Yeah,
gueshe.
so we used to play,
An upcoming blog post, by the way.
So we have to say how to make the perfect guava.
That's an awesome
I
idea.
like the lemon thing, because the guava was just too hard
Yeah.
and too small.
Sure, that's a lot of wrapping. To make a soccer ball, yeah?
Yes, a lot of times.
Plus, the lemon will last longer
you
than
put
a guava.
paper- You put paper around the first layer. Then you put plastics around that layer. If you wanted it to bounce, literally bounce, you just use plastics. So if you were from the family that's well to do, that does a lot of groceries and that kind of thing, you would just put more and more plastics and just build it and just build it and build it until in the end you then take the Wanyama orange that you put on the outside, which would give
Really?
you
Yeah.
a lovely mesh. And then you twist it and you put it another layer.
And the good thing is because you were playing barefoot,
yeah.
it
What was
it was
And then you burn it because you didn't want the part that you
Yes.
tied at the top to hurt you when
be
you
poking
kick it.
out, yeah.
So when you put it over, you then burn it
Wow.
and then flatten it, so it would make like a nice.
I played in
the
strange.
best gueshe makers were legends in our neighborhood because you would get not only a very tight ball, but you would also have it perfectly round.
Yeah.
Some people ended up with oval, polygonal.
Are you serious? I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Yes.
The ones that
Like,
would be
are you
flat like this and round on the outside.
But if you use the orange or the potato pad, the items from Bare,
Yeah.
you have to make it perfectly round. That thing would last months, I tell you.
Really?
I'm telling you.
The only one
we
I
used to play
remember was it's
So we
Nepolenta.
used to play at this place called Number One Ground. Number One Ground, it was like, it was only if you were professional you'd play on the field. We'd play on the outside part of the field. Nice facility, Mavuko. But when I went back there, I wanted to start out a celebrity initiative where celebrities would just play soccer together. And we needed to play, instead of playing at some of these sports fields in town, let's play in a place like Mavuko where people actually appreciate that we're there, right? So I went there and I realized when I went to Mavuko to actually book the field, that the field had no grass, the facility was dilapidated, everything was in a bad state. And I was like, a lot of my friends, we're in the kind of position where we can influence people to help in this particular case. So we set about creating a structure of some kind of, of projects that we're going to be doing in Mavuko, which include like bringing a dance festival there, putting movie nights in that ground. So we'll speak to, put up a projector and people can come and watch movies, kind of like a drive-in. But the objective is that you're leaving money in Mavuko. So all your refreshments and stuff you buy from the people in Mavuko. So this past weekend we had a bunch of celebrities playing soccer, and what happened there is that we created like lots of little jobs on that day. Like the guys who brought in the braai stands were paid. There were the guys who were selling freezers, because like Bashupi and Mudiwa, they went and bought freezers.
Those
for
are
all
the guys
kids.
selling. Oh, okay.
They bought freezers for all the kids there.
I thought those are the guys selling.
I know. So I mean, so the issue that was there and the crowd that was there, taking pictures and making sure that it goes out on social media. And we're now, what we're doing is we're selling T-shirts to raise funds for Mavuku, because we want to do a lot of stuff there. We want to paint up some of the houses and have the people rent out some of the rooms in their houses as like lodges, like give them tourism training to actually run like a like an establishment where people can come from abroad and get like a ghetto tourism experience, where they're staying in Mavuku and they get to have someone cook a proper meal of sadza for them, and
so on,
that kind of thing. so that's so that's the idea of Mavuku, like urban like regeneration of a community by stimulating it, by bringing in a lot of like cool stuff. So we're calling the place Kubora. So what we're encouraging people is that on the weekend, instead of going wherever it is that you go, just bring your cooler box and your drinks. Let's chill there. We'll organize entertainment. We'll try and get performers to perform there. And all you need to do is just come and chill out, because we know you leave money in Mavuku. That's all we want to do, and make people
One way or another.
The money is staying in Mavuku. So I'm literally decided to appoint myself as the tourism board for Mavuku. Because right now we want to market here Zimbabwe as a destination, but my priority is marketing Mavuku as a tourist destination.
Okay. All right. You had a soccer game.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And we lost 5-1.
And guess who was the goalkeeper?
I was the goalkeeper. I think my spectacles were not working.
There was a lot of diving and a lot of dust, just not a lot of catching.
Yeah, I can't dive on hard floors. I normally like to
skin
play
is
on
delicate.
AstroTurf.
I understand.
FIFA approved AstroTurf. This
Okay.
was not even Zifa approved. So it was quite sore.
Yeah. Anyway, well, I like that initiative. I like that. It's very fun, and it's not the usual.
Girl child, what?
Yes.
Okay.
I think you know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
Back to comedy.
Yeah.
You've performed in all these places and blah blah blah, and you've got a comedy festival coming up in South Africa.
Yes.
The
Yes.
Soweto International Comedy Festival.
Absolutely.
Your first time performing at this international comedy festival?
Yes.
All right,
Again,
cool.
yeah, first time.
Who else is going to be there?
There's Dave Levinson, who's a South African comedian.
Kidiboni Mulaudzi, Jay Boogie. Then we have some international guys.
There's a
We're also
gentleman
there.
from the US.
Check the link under the podcast
Yes.
for the
On
guys who are
Twimbos.
performing. At this particular point, look down. It's there. The lineup.
Okay,
it's
look
quite a-
slightly up from where you're looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Okay,
yeah, look.
not too
Yeah.
low.
Not too low.
All right, I'll actually give you the names of the people that are performing, because
you very
clearly
much.
I'm more prepared than
Yeah.
this
More well
comedian
versed with the laptop of the names in front of you.
who supposedly scripts all his shows.
Yes.
Right. We have got performing at this particular comedy festival,
Scroll.
Courtney G
Oh, the US gentleman.
from Russell Simmons' Def Comedy Jam series.
Yes.
We have got Carl Joshua Ncube from Zimbabwe.
Hey.
We have got Dave,
Levinson from South Africa.
who has been described as off the wall.
He is incredible. He's you
There's
know
a
when I went
bond
to South
there,
Africa.
Danny. There's a bond there.
Yeah. When I went to South Africa, he was one of the first comics I saw, and he just like incredible. He's amazing. I love him to bits.
Pause.
This is awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah.
From East Africa, we have Joseph Opio.
Yeah, Joseph, hilarious guy.
I don't know if his name is just Joseph Opie and then the O is just the East African
It's
affectation.
almost like a oh.
So you'd be like Carlo,
Opio, yeah.
Joseph Opio.
Opio.
All right.
And he's got lots of Zimbabwe jokes, which I think are hilarious.
We may never bring him to
We'll
Zimbabwe.
never bring him.
He's funny.
Yeah.
J Boogie.
Yes, from South
Hilarious.
Africa.
Yeah, and you mentioned Kedibone Mulaudzi.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it looks like it's going to be a pretty cool event. This is happening at
Gold Reef City.
Gold Reef City.
Lyric Theatre.
The tickets are from 170 Rand going up. It's the 21st and 22nd of March.
Yes.
So what we're going to do
Yeah.
off of Carl's social media and Two
Yes.
Broke Twimbos,
Yes.
Awesome.
as long as you're following and liking both,
But of
Yes.
course.
we're going to be giving away 10 tickets.
10 whole tickets.
10 tickets. So if
10
you live in
tickets.
South Africa,
Woo! Woohoo!
And
You'll be coming to the show for free.
you have 170 rand, which frankly, shame on you for not donating at least some of that to us. But if you feel like you would like to go there for free, and thenceforth donate that 170 rand, which would
To the
probably feed
Zimbabwe
us
plate.
for
Feed a
what
family
month
of
is it?
6. No.
That's actually quite a lot, hey? $170 groceries. That's a lot of money.
130 rands.
Sorry,
Depending on the
170.
exchange rate.
The exchange rate is sweet.
6-pack.
And I'm always sparked when people say, "Are you paying 1:1?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "You mean 1:10, right?"
Yeah, exactly.
That's so crazy.
It's a jackpot.
Well, anyway, we're going to be giving those away. So follow Two Broke Twimbos on Twitter. Follow at Carl Joshua Ncube. On Facebook, look for Two Broke Twimbos and Carl Joshua Ncube. And we're going to give you guys an opportunity to win those tickets. We're going to think of a fun way to do it. I'm thinking we use your Carl Can Cook series.
Okay.
On a budget.
We'll think it up. We'll announce
Yeah.
it. We'll announce it.
We'll
on
announce
social
it,
media.
yeah, we'll
Then you
announce
guys can get yourselves tickets to this
Awesome.
event. So it's
Yes.
going to be awesome.
And please, when you come through, do make time to actually come up and say.
And say what's
hi.
up. Let's get pictures taken of the winners.
Yes, that would
Yeah,
be dope.
let's link up and chill out, and you can
But
buy
you're,
us
you're
drinks.
creepy and weird.
Yeah.
But the only thing is, please, just even if it's not funny, just laugh, Sha, because you know, Carl
Especially
has to-
just
Support local,
like
eh?
support local. When Carl comes out, just laugh louder than.
But you know, Zimbo is always funny when we go for the shows in South Africa. He'd be like, oh, my Zimbo's out there. And I was like,
I knew what you.
They don't want to be like,
This is my Zimbo,
you're
guys.
like,
Zimbo.
you know, they don't want to be
Yeah.
seen like
It's like,
being
no,
out
yeah.
there.
That's very true.
Your social media presence.
Yes.
I notice it seems like you actually put a lot of effort to. I don't know if it's effort or it's just you really don't
Time.
have that much to do in your life.
Time. But lots of effort.
That's like you're always
I work-
updating your Facebook, your Twitter.
Yeah, I work online. That's my job. My
Yeah.
my prime business is marketing, and social media is my tool of choice for marketing, and it's cheap. You know, I don't have the money for billboards, but I've got enough money to put a data bundle one data bundle onto my phone, so I can talk to people online. But I thoroughly enjoy it. It's become what I do every day. I spend like 18 hours on social
I have
media.
to put them on timeout. Like, I have
Yeah.
to switch off the computer, switch off the router for the internet. So that he
So
can
that I
just
can
come
cook.
downstairs. So that he can go
So I can go and
and
Speaking of which, hey, okay, listen,
Yeah.
we can't afford meals.
Right.
If you guys cook and have lots of excess food, I'm just saying.
no
Yes,
problem.
yeah.
I think we'll invite the two broke
We had
Twimbos to
close
our
to
house.
30 people in our house after the football match.
And
Everyone
now
came
we've
to our
got
house.
we're
And
close to ice blocks in
ice
our
blocks
fridge.
in our fridge. That's all we have left.
So yeah.
Oh, nice. You
yeah.
guys have a fridge. Oh.
Yeah.
No, we're married. We have to have a fridge.
And
Like
the-
it's one
and
of
the-
those things.
and
Like
the-
when you're
and the
when you're
freezer.
single.
I'm
You-
gonna do like my Wicknow plug. It was like, yeah, I'm just grateful to God that I have a fridge and a freezer.
All these haters without fridges and freezers.
Because most people can't even they can't even have a cold drink. Like I can, because all of you are just too poor to
You're
even be
rubbish.
in my shoes.
No.
Why are you
And
so
why,
poor?
Why I am?
But I think it'd be dope to have the two broke Twimbos. I assure you that I will invite you guys over
For dinner, yes.
For dinner.
We'll
Actually,
bring
no
our
dinner.
camera.
No, dinner might be a bit
No,
tight.
the tight
no,
because you have to take a
yeah,
cab,
you have to
which
take
is
a cab home, which
Let's
is expensive.
do lunch
So we'll
that
do lunch and
within
we'll
combi times you can be
Ah,
able
must
to
go
go.
spark up and
See, we're very strategic like that. You know what I mean? So I think we will do that, and then
And
you
we'll
guys
cook
can
excess
talk
so that
about-
you can do takeaways.
I think that'll be
So
dope.
don't feel shy to finish what you are eating.
This
Yeah.
is just brilliant.
But I
you,
only
do you
ask-
remember when you'd go out on a date with a chick and she order a pizza, then she just eat
No.
one because she's got the whole family to feed?
I don't remember that.
Oh,
I
okay.
do remember
No,
candy
you-
cake.
Yeah, you remember. You remember.
Other candy.
Yeah.
Candy cake in a pink, yeah, but I'm sorry, yeah.
Shit,
Yeah.
That thing was nasty though, but I mean it was huge.
What I had to do
What
was,
was it though?
I don't
What was it
know.
made from?
No idea.
Like gluten.
Like
I've learned
Gluten
not
and
to look
MSG,
too much
like-
into those things.
Wow, and food coloring.
no, I was that chick. Like I remember when we'd go on dates, and Wimpy was when I was growing up. Wimpy
I
was
just remember
the,
walking past that place.
Wimpy was the place. Like if a guy says he's taking you out, when it's called Wimpy Gasaga. There was two things I remember.
Tasty treat to
I'm
eat.
lactose
Wimpy.
intolerant, which means I can't take dairy. But the only thing I thought was classy enough to eat was an ice cream, like the little creamy ice cream thingy, because I felt embarrassed having a burger. because you can't open your mouth that big. You're like that wide.
Oh, hi, Nelsy. What you do is you ask for a fucking knife.
No. Then as I grew older, I learned to know chicken half. Like there were no meals for a date. Burger, spaghetti bolognese, like chips were fine because they look sexy. Like, open the chip and that was dope. But you couldn't eat a burger. You couldn't do that.
What kind of role play were you doing?
It's like a chow.
Yeah, no. I remember
Dip it in the
our
sauce.
first date. No, but our first date was dope. I think he cooked as usual. He cooked on our
Whoa.
first date,
Oh, word?
and then I just thought he was just being my boy, and he's
I was
like he
just
was
broke
trying to
because
make.
my mom had a chicken
Exactly.
farm.
Oh yes.
At a chicken farm, and then I took the veggies from the garden. Everything was homegrown.
I was sitting over here just like, my man Carl knows what he's doing.
No, I realized we were broke, and this is like a tip for like first dates when you're broke, right? So what
You
we
must
did-
love your partner realistically.
Yeah. So
Yeah, don't promise
So we
her the
actually
world,
were broke.
'cause-
So initially we had decided we would like to go to Harare Gardens because we thought it was like $1 or something. So we thought we'd go to Harare Gardens and
I had no money for
have a
combi.
picnic, but he didn't have enough money for a combi. And then we actually went Dutch, eh? He was bringing the food. I was gonna buy the juice and stuff. So that was,
Smart.
very, very practical. And then we decided, and then we realized, okay, one, we didn't have enough money to come back. So we decided, no, he was going to come to where I was staying, to my auntie's house.
Again, very clever.
To my auntie's house, and we had a big yard. My
And
auntie's
we
only
just-
discovering that we had a picnic at her house right now. But I was a grown woman. And Dangwisa
14.
Kagumbeze outside on the lawn, and then Carl had brought chicken and
That was my
vegetables from
attempt
his
to come
mom.
out of the friend zone. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was friend zoned hard, my guy. I had to pull
Yeah.
out all the stops.
That's
Food
achieved
to come out of the friend zone.
That was a very nice date, Tango
And also, like, even how we
juice.
used to SMS, because remember the bundles, the SMS bundles, there was 20 SMSs on $1, whatever.
Yeah.
So get a $1 airtime. So we just SMS each other. Then on the last SMS,
It
instead
put
of
in-
saying that this is my last
tweet,
SMS,
which takes a lot of work.
It'll take your words away. So we
put
put
an
an asterisk,
asterisk.
so you knew that was the last.
That was the last
message.
text. And then if we
So
were
that was our system.
that was
we
our
used.
that was our broke Twimbo system. And
I
if
think I'll write an article about
I
it.
know that
tomorrow.
was dope. And then what we did was, if we didn't have money on our phones, we'd send each other
Callbacks,
callbacks.
so that we
these
just let you know
callbacks were
that I'm-
like, thinking about you.
Or you wouldn't
miss
actually
you.
call back.
No.
You're
Yeah,
just,
no.
okay.
We just said no.
Oh, so
We
you used to
didn't
fill
have
in the
money.
blanks yourself.
Yeah, like
How are things
Yeah,
going?
because you send a call back and she'll be
What
like,
are you
she'll be
wearing?
like,
You send a call back.
oh my
Like,
gosh,
that's
oh my
so
gosh.
nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then,
So-
like, I also used my job for us to go out. Like, at Acoustic Night, I'd ask
Oh, when you
Tari.
started comedy.
I'd ask Tari for a gig at Acoustic Night and ask for transport to go home. Then I'll invite Nelsy to come over. Then I'd have just $1, so we'll share a coffee, and it'll be romantic because it's Acoustic Night. Get to
Hot
listen to
chocolate
Prayer
was
Soul,
winter.
listen to Prayer Soul and
Nice.
Purewood, and I'll
That
just do
was
my
dope.
5 minutes of comedy. So we chill
Sure,
there.
we
That
had
was a
very
date.
weird, and then we used to, we had very broke Twimbo
Yeah.
dating system.
Like on her birthday, because she's always wanted to open a coffee shop. So what we did is I brought, she
He
brought
ba-
hot
he
ch-
baked
chocolate from home,
scones.
and I baked scones, and then I printed out on our printer little coasters
with the name of
the name of
my-
her coffee shop, like designed everything, made a website for her, and then that day we just served her coffee like she was actually in a coffee shop.
It was
'Cause
so
it didn't-
dope.
yeah.
It was, he was sweet.
She had no money.
He was sweet. On his birthday, what did I do for you? Well, I just do cards and stuff. So I did a card, and then I did like,
No, she just gave me her diary
oh yes, I gave him my diary.
so that I would then finish off my chapter.
But my diary had like chapters of where my life and
But
chapters
how
of
do you clear history on a diary, Sha?
no
Exactly,
Yisha. No, but it wasn't. It was sweet, but it had like
Explain.
inspirational stuff. So I gave it to him so that he can complete the inspirational stuff. Ask him as if he touched that diary.
No,
But
I've just
anyway,
read it. I had nothing to add.
you know,
I
like,
had nothing
so-
to add to it because
But it was really dope, and we used to work from AIT, which is like, where is AIT? Like this place called AIT, which is like
Pana
4th
Fourth.
Street, right? And then it's
They're on every day.
Makombi kuna Rizende. So what we would do every day, right, is after Rizende.
no.
It was Rizende. No.
It wasn't Rizende.
It was Copacabana. Sorry.
Copacabana,
Rizende is close.
Not to be confused with the tropical resort.
No,
Exactly.
not at all. Not Acapulco.
So,
No,
so
no,
yeah,
no.
so we'd walk.
So
we'd
we'd
take long
walk-
walks. The long walk down from
And there
from
was-
the top of town to
to there,
down,
and
yeah.
that's where we'd discuss our future.
outside the
we'd
public
discuss
toilet,
our
which
life.
was
And then I would use him
smelly.
as a shield for the smell outside the public toilet. So No, we understand the whole two broke Twimbo, but you can still date.
We were two broke Twimbos.
We were really
I'm
two
not
broke
going
Twimbos.
to date my fellow Twimbo. No.
Yeah, no, not that other one.
that's-
But
yeah.
you might have a fellow female Twimbo that may be broke.
See, we
So-
cover everything here on Two Broke Twimbos.
Yeah,
Dating
I know,
tips
Sha.
with
Dating
Carl
tips.
and Nelsy.
No, it was
Dating
dope.
tips. I think keep your relationship real. If she's not willing to keep it real,
But
she's not for you.
sometimes you don't have to reveal it. For example, when I would go on my dates, I take a candy cake, then I would tell her, no, just give me the wrapper, like a little paper.
And then
wrapper.
you eat that.
No, I'll keep it. I can't eat it in front of her.
Yeah.
As soon as she goes, bye bye.
Bye-bye, yeah.
Pakadoma, chichi, whatever. Then she goes.
But how many
right?
guys actually
And I
do
open
that?
that little paper, and I know that's like my supper.
But you know how many guys actually went out with chicks, took her to a movie, then you take a cab home to drop her off at home. Once you've dropped her off at home,
You ask
then
the
you drive
cab
away
driver. I
and ask the
didn't know
cab
this.
driver,
I
drop
didn't
you off
know
and then you
this.
walk back.
I didn't know this.
You
but
walk
you
back
know
home.
what? I
Yeah, no,
honestly
I've-
think,
yeah,
I
I've done
think,
that.
I think, you know what? I think chicks can be real. Like, when you're... when
You
you're
guys, I don't
With
know,
the
Nelsy,
weaves
you're a
and the
very rare
makeup
one.
and the...
No, because, but ask him, no, but
That can't
I
be
was
real.
called Taura Chokwadi. Me, I was okay. Like, I didn't
You
even
should
bother
hear
you.
Nelsy. Andimbo fanda kakwira bazi.
No, but muvunze kuti ndautaura izvozvo rini. But when we were starting up,
That's what I'm saying.
No,
no
aiwa,
pressure.
can't
She
do
says,
that.
she says, you know the kind of life that I want to have. I want to travel around the world.
I'm
I want to
keeping
see.
you
So I'm
inspired.
like, okay, so I now need to be a big comic. I can't afford to just be performing
No,
in one
aiwa,
venue.
aiwa,
I now
aiwa.
need to be getting gigs outside of
Daddy,
Zimbabwe.
Iowa, no, he's giving a very terrible
No,
impression
she
of
kept
me.
it real. She
I
kept it
kept
real.
it real, you know. And now momuneta nenyaya dzekuti ndigadzwe musoro, getting my nail did and stuff like that. I was very dope. And these guys, I don't know, they're talking sign language.
Aiwa, pane chimwe baby so.
Yeah,
Eh.
pane zviri kuitika.
So maybe she can keep it real. Sha.
Pane zviri kuitika, and you're like, oh, edible. It's a code word.
Yeah, I know, guys. You know what? I appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
I'm wondering if this
Thanks,
sincerity.
I'm wondering when-
No, I really do. I really appreciate you
shucks.
guys.
Thanks.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for coming
Cool.
through.
Thank you so much.
And I feel like a lot of people will know Carl and Nelsy further than they had before from the jokes
Yeah.
and the.
I think we should also just start a podcast. Like me and my wife.
Andy.
Or my wife and I. My wife and kids. No, it's already existing.
Nelsy.
Canelsy. People try to give us names.
I know,
That's so
Sha.
weird.
They tried
Canelsy. Calcy.
Calcy, Canelsy. I was like,
And I'm
right.
like, no, Sha. It's,
Nilka.
yeah?
Don't know. People just gave us weird stuff.
Mr. and Mrs. Carl Joshua Ncube.
Mr. and Mrs. Comedian.
I tell you what,
Mrs.
Two Broke Twimbos will give you guys a name.
Okay.
Oh, yes. That's cool.
Carnal.
Carnal.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks,
Carnal.
Dopeness.
That's the best version of it.
There you have it, folks. That's been the latest Two Broke Twimbos episode featuring the comedian Carl Joshua Ncube and his lovely wife Nelsy. Absolutely had a blast. I think the best part of it was the fact that Phil wasn't there. Thank you very much. The powers of finance that be that allow him to struggle so badly with finances. Now, we always have new content for you coming every week, even on a daily basis. So make sure you're checking the website, Two Broke Twimbos. You're going to find events on there. Make sure you attend all of those so that we get more opportunities for getting free tickets, because right now, no one. We're also going to have event reviews. Look out for that as being a regular feature of Two Broke Twimbos. Subscribe everywhere you can. If you're into RSS feeds, make sure you subscribe to both the podcast and the struggle, so you can get yourself an update every time there's a new one out. And hey, don't forget that we can get iTunes. Thank you to the ghost of Steve Jobs, who has donated us an opportunity to put our podcasts up on iTunes. So you can subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and get it regularly delivered to your iDevice or to your iTunes on your computer. So thank you very much, guys. Make sure you're going to be listening next week for our next podcast episode. We're going to keep it fresh, keep it moving, and don't forget to donate to Two Broke Twimbos. My name is Danny, that guy. We'll check you guys out later.
We broke.